Hi, everybody. Hope you're all good and in high spirits. Today, I'm going to talk about the LA City Council meeting, some racism I saw that was probably missed by everybody because they were hurting. Um, I'll start with the public comments. My favorite public comment yesterday was from a black gentleman out of Venice. And he showed up and said, "You," pointed at Mike Bonin, "are pointing the finger and yelling racism the loudest because of what the three Latinos said about his black son. But your policies have hurt my black community and were racist. You are no different than those three races you're accusing of racism." Now, Mike Bonin's district extends to the Pacific Ocean and includes Venice. My guess is that the majority of people who elected him are well-to-do. The status quo, as I've seen it in my life with a lot of experience around government and decision making, has been that what that black gentleman said is the status quo. I have zero reason to believe that Mike Bonin would look out for a black community and risk political backlash from all his wealthy supporters in that coastal district. Here locally, I see politicians brag about working in the fields, having marched with Cesar, being about equity, doing a lot of token shit, showing up on the 16th of September, Cinco de Mayo, riding in the back of a lowrider, waving to people, maybe even lifting a cruising band, which I thought was a good thing. But when it comes time to put things like homeless shelters, dense low-income housing, truck routes, big pollution sources, they always go in black and brown neighborhoods. And the people who make those decisions are black and brown. They get a pass on polluting us because the community thinks they're looking out for us because they look like us. And they're smart enough to give you some bullshit here and there that makes you think they are looking out for you. Here locally, I've called out a group that is supposed to be representing Raza for using terms to describe development in rich neighborhoods, and those terms are specific to poor communities and equity. A food desert, for example, is used to describe the lack of healthy food options in poor communities. They have liquor stores, they have little corner stores, and more in black communities because I think Mexican communities, they got a lot of carnicerias and fruit options, not to a degree like a Whole Foods or a Trader Joe's or in wealthy neighborhoods. But food desert is a term that is specific to poor communities who've been zoned and marginalized such that they don't have a lot of healthy food options. And I've seen nonprofits use equity terms like food desert to describe developments in rich neighborhoods. And what that's about is the local government getting federal funds to help poor people and then using those funds to benefit wealthy communities. It happens all the time. All the time. I did an interview with the lady Sandra who worked with the community and they got a big grant for Fresno in the name of the poor community, and the Board of Supervisors wanted to spend it to redevelop downtown, make it richer. So it's the status quo. What that black man said about Mike Bonin rang true given everything I've seen. And Mike Bonin gets a pass because he adopted a black kid. People say he can't be racist. He adopted a black kid. He's LGBTQ. They fight for human rights and against bullying. That doesn't make him immune to selling out black folks in Venice to protect wealthy white folks and developers. Now, one of the comments Well, I won't even entertain the comments that the city council made. They were wrong. But after I heard the comment from that black gentleman that Mike Bonin, screaming racist the loudest, is a racist himself, despite having a black kid. You know what I mean? That's deep. And so I made a video, and then I thought, no, I shouldn't post it unless I go at least look it up. And I Googled Mike Bonin racist, and the first article that came up was from a private journalism magazine, Knock LA, KNOCK LA. And the title is Mike Bonin Doesn't Care About Black People. And then it goes on to describe all these demonstrations of tokenism he's done. And that's just what I said the raza here does. All these token gestures that make you think they're for the raza. But when it comes time to vote on shit that's going to make lifelong affect communities for their lives. If you put a factory that pollutes in the barrio, those little kids are going to grow up breathing that pollution. Might not affect them today, might not affect them tomorrow. Their brother might even get a job there. But in 40 years, when they all have asthma and cancer, the city council knew that was going to be the effect 30 years later when they put it there amongst their own people. So check out Knock LA. They have an article about Mike Bonin not caring about black people. At the same time, that black gentleman said he was screaming racist the loudest. My other comment on racism that I think wasn't picked up on, and I'm hypersensitive to racism. I see it everywhere. I don't feel like a victim. I just see it everywhere, and I call it out. And I haven't heard anyone else say this, so it might just be me. But this is what I saw, and this is what I heard from Mike Bonin in his opening comments. Speaking about those 3 Latino council members who, again, I'm not here to defend. I don't care about them. They are the same ilk as the ones here locally telling me they care about us and then putting pollution in our communities. But in speaking about them, and this is to say 2 wrongs don't make a right, Mike Bonin started with Nuri, Kevin, and Gil. Shot and stabbed us. 2 sentences later, he said, these 3 council members gave us a beatdown. He's being dramatic, right? Well, actually, he's using language of the streets to paint the actions of 3 Latino council members. See, I've been to a lot of city council public meetings that include city council meetings, board of supervisors meetings, board hearings. I've been to a lot of government meetings. I've never once seen the government stab, beat, or shoot each other. I don't even think those terms are used metaphorically to describe their conflicts. You know, they might be up there stealing and robbing and cheating and lying and all kinds of shit. But they're not stabbing, shooting, and giving out beatdowns. What I think Mike Bonin was doing in using those phrases from the street to describe his colleagues in the city council was to paint them as nothing more than Mexican gang members. That's what Mexican gang members do, right? They shoot, they stab, and they give out beatdowns. City council members don't do that. Heads of agencies don't do that. Board of supervisors don't do that. Gang members do that. And the analogy was actually not really even a good one. So the reason I think he was doing that was to say, look, you could take these Latinos, dress them up, comb their hair nicer, put some makeup on them, polish them up, give them some equity rhetoric, and they still can't rise above being gang members. That was racist. That was so other people, the seeds planted. We can't elect Mexicans. We can't elect Raza. Because they're gang members at heart. They will shoot, stab, and beat you. LA. Because he said they did it to LA. That was racist. I didn't get a good vibe from Bonin the instant I saw him. The vibe I got was the same shady vibe I get from the equity folks here. They get a pass because they adopt these labels. You know, I'm the father of a black child. I can't be racist. But let me vote this way, in a way that the black community is going to suffer. The developers will get richer. My white constituents in Venice will be happy. No one can call me racist. I'm LGBTQ and I have a black kid. Well, people have called you racist. A black gentleman during yesterday's public comment called you a racist. I believe him. I believe every single person up on that city council is racist to a degree. That's what I've been telling you all along. They don't get there because they're altruistic. They get there because they're ambitious. They're putting themselves before you. So Mike Bonin, it's not cool that they talked about your kid. Kids should be off limits. But whatever they did doesn't wash your actions if you've been unfair and unjust to communities of colors as well. And when they're done cleaning house with those three, you might be next. Can't hide behind labels, homie. If you're not doing right, I hope they get you out too. Have a good day. Much love.